On behalf of the Philippine delegation, I thank you for this opportunity to lend our voice at this IPU general debate on the theme Strengthening the Global Regime for Migrants and Refugees, the Need for Evidence-Based Policy Solutions. 18 months ago, heads of state and governments gathered and discussed at the global level and within the UN General Assembly, for the first time, issues related to migration and refugees. The New York Declaration of Refugees and Migrants was adopted by 193 member states, recognizing the need for a comprehensive approach to human mobility and enhanced cooperation at the global level. As in any conference, however, hard work begins after all the delegates have left. This assembly of parliamentarians can help move forward not just the commitments of 18 months ago in New York, but of many other treaties and pledges, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, in which member states committed to cooperate internationally to facilitate safe, orderly, and regular migration. The Philippines has had a long history of migration, both as a sending and receiving country. While only 3.4% of the world's population, or 258 million, are said to be residing or working in countries not of their birth, it is estimated that 10% of the Philippine population, or 10 million Filipinos, currently reside or work in practically all countries of the world. They include doctors, scientists, nurses, engineers, architects, information technology specialists, other skilled workers, including seafarers. Some of them may even be working in your own homes and communities. While they have helped sustain the continued growth of our economy, there is no denying the fact that they also contribute to the vibrancy of the host countries' economies. Our Filipino architects have helped transform the urban landscape in Dubai. Our nurses and doctors have helped revitalize the national healthcare system of many countries in Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. In jest, others claim that if all the Filipino nurses in their country would take a vacation at the same time, their hospital care system will collapse. Filipino mothers have left their own families so they can help raise the children of political leaders, of monarchs, heads of state, business people, even ordinary workers. Some call this reverse foreign aid, with developing countries sharing the best of their human resources with the developed world. We simply call it human development, that of enlarging people's choices to help them achieve a decent standard of living, self-respect, healthy life, including freedom. The movement of people across borders, however, should never be at the expense of human dignity. This leads me to the very important fact that women comprise 73.4% of all migrant domestic workers worldwide. Unfortunately, the respect for women migrant workers, especially those employed in domestic service, is not yet universally shared. There is strong evidence that female domestic workers remain the most vulnerable to abuse, exploitation, forced labor, and violence. In 2015 alone, more than 36,000 overseas Filipinos sought assistance from our embassies and consulates. The Philippine government employs mass repatriation of distressed Filipinos overseas, many of them out of status and unemployed for years because legal remedies are absent in their host countries. Worldwide displacement in 2015 has reached an all-time high, with 1 in every 122 humans classified either a refugee, internally displaced, or seeking asylum. All these demand not just an evidence-based policymaking, but one that is humane as well. The UN Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of Their Families entered into force way back in 2003. To date, there are 59 state parties to this convention. 25, on the other hand, have ratified the International Labor Organization's Domestic Workers Convention number 189. The sad reality is manifested through these ratification numbers. There is collective recognition over the problems facing migrants and refugees, but collective action is lacking. We need a more effective implementation and international response. And it's for this reason that we need to pursue the Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration as a platform for collective action. There are a number of salient provisions that the Philippines wants to see in the Global Compact. The Global Compact should be firmly anchored in human rights. This is non-negotiable, since the Global Compact is about migrants as human beings with dignity and rights. It should also be both a human rights and sustainable development instrument. Third, the standards of protection for migrants should not be less than what had been agreed by leaders of states and enshrined in the New York Declaration of 2016. It should also be guided by the 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. Fourth, international migration governance is a shared responsibility of all states, sending, receiving, and transit states. Fifth, the Global Compact should be gender responsive and child sensitive. The Philippines welcomes the 360-degree approach to the Global Compact negotiations, for it conforms to the whole of society migration cycle, the whole of government, and the whole of society approaches that we have long adhered to. And given the range of actionable commitments that are expected to be drawn up, it is our view that the International Organization for Migration should be given a lead and coordinative role in the implementation and capacity building of the Global Compact, while fully respecting the mandates and expertise of other UN agencies with migration portfolio. Perhaps unknown to many, the Philippines has also long been a receiving country of refugees. Our country has welcomed numerous waves of refugees, from the first wave of Russians fleeing persecution in 1917, the Spanish Republicans fleeing the end of the Spanish Civil War in 1939, the European Jews escaping Nazi persecution in World War II, 30,000 Chinese refugees seeking safe havens in the late 1930s, more than 400,000 Indo-Chinese refugees, and even the East Timorese refugees at the turn of a century. So there's so much more. My colleagues, it is not just intuition that drives us into treating refugees humanely. Rather, it is the right and decent thing to do. I'm proud to say that the Philippines is the first Southeast Asian country to have established a mechanism to determine whether a person of concern is a refugee or is stateless. This refugee determination process or program enables refugee applicants and their family members to access services and benefits provided under the Refugee and Stateless Conventions and allows for the suspension of deportation proceedings subject to Philippine laws and procedures. With that, I thank you for listening, dear parliamentarians. Thank you.
شكرا للسيدة ليغاردا من